Hi gang, today we're solving equations by combining like terms. So we're adding another element into our equations. We've done distributive property. Now we're going to be seeing things where we have to combine like terms. All right, so let's see our procedure here. In order to do this, we're first going to distribute if necessary. So if there are parentheses in the equation, you need to get rid of them by distributing and multiplying whatever's outside the parentheses with everything inside the parentheses. Second, you're going to combine all coefficients and constants. Again, coefficients mean all variable terms that have the variable. Okay, so things like 5x and 2x can be put together to make 7x. Things like half x and 3/4 x can be put together to get a whole x. And constant, so those are the numbers that stand alone. So things like +5 and -8 can be put together to get -3. 10 and +4 can be put together to get +14. Third, you're going to use inverse operations to combine the constant and the answer. And last, use inverse operations to combine the coefficient and the answer. And with the lessons we've been seeing, you should know what coefficients and constants are. Okay, constants are the numbers that are being added or subtracted without a variable. Coefficients are the number in front of the variable. All right, let's take a look at some examples. Number 1, here we have 2x plus 6 minus 5x minus 10 equals 11. So we have two terms that can be put, or two sets of terms that can be put together here. We have the 2x and the 5x. But what's important here is that we keep in mind that this is 2x, this is positive 2x, but this kind of acts as negative 5x because of that minus sign. So those two can be put together, and 2x minus 5x is negative 3x. Next, we can put together the positive 6, the sign stays with it, and negative 10. Positive 6 minus 10 is negative 4, resulting in my equation, negative 3x minus 4 equals 11, which is a two-step equation that you are very prepared to do. All right, so here we get rid of the constant, which is negative 4, by adding 4 to both sides. We get negative 3x equals 15. Then we get rid of the coefficient by divided by negative 3. And we get a final answer of negative 5. Make sure you hold on to your negative. Don't lose it because that'll cost you a point. You then mess up the entire equation by losing your negative. All right, let's see what we got next. You're going to try number 2 on your own, not her own, your own. Next one, number 3. So negative 5 halves x plus 18 plus 3/4 x minus 26 equals 55. So similar to the first one, but now we got some crazy fractions that we have to deal with. Now remember, when you're adding or subtracting fractions, you need a common denominator. So to make my life easier, I'm going to rewrite this equation first. I have a 2 in the denominator and a 4 in the denominator. So you should know that the common denominator would then be 4 because 2 goes into 4. So let's rewrite it. Negative 5 halves, if I wanted to change it to 4, I need to multiply by 2. I get negative 10/4 x plus 18 plus 3/4 x minus 26 equals 55. Now I can combine like terms. So what can we put together? Well, anything with an x, so negative 10/4 x and positive 3/4 x. When we're adding these fractions, we keep the denominator and the variable. So we have negative 10 plus 3. Think of it being negative 10 degrees below 0, adding 3, so we're coming up. Or different signs, you find the difference. So we're going to keep the negative, and 10 minus 3 is 7. So we get negative 7/4 x. Then we can add or combine positive 18 and negative 26. 26 is bigger than 18, so that's going to result in a negative. Different signs, I find the difference. 26 minus 18 is 8, so it's negative 8 equals 55. Now I have an equation that is much easier to solve. We start by getting rid of the constant, which is negative 8, adding 8 to both sides. Results in negative 7/4 x equals 63. Now we have a fraction that we need to get rid of. The coefficient is a fraction, and the opposite of multiplying by a fraction is to multiply by its reciprocal. So we're going to change it to negative 4/7. 4 over 4 cancels out. 7 over 7 also cancels out. So we get x equals, and then we can multiply the opposite side also by negative 4/7. 63, remember we divide by the denominator, multiply by the numerator. So 63 divided by 7 results in 9, and 9 times -4 is -36. Final answer. All right, so a lot more work than just a basic equation, but you can do it if you take your time and are neat. It is very important that when you're solving these longer equations that you're super neat so you can see step by step what you need to do. All right, let's see what we got next. Number 4. Ooh, I've added in another element. So now you also have parentheses we have to deal with. So remember, the first step was to get rid of the parentheses first. So to get rid of the parentheses, I need to multiply +5 by x and -2. So that's 3x plus 5x minus 10 equals 14. Now I have to combine like terms. And in this case, I only have one set of like terms that I can add together, and that's the 3x and the 5x. 3x plus 5x is 8x, so 8x minus 10 equals 14, a much simpler equation to solve. We start by getting rid of the constant, which is -10, add 10 to both sides, so 8x equals 24. Then get rid of the coefficient by dividing by 8, so x equals 3. Final answer. All right, moving on. You're going to try 5 and 6 on your own. And then we're going to look at some more problems that that have you combine like terms as well. This has perimeter. So you should know that perimeter is the distance around a shape. To find the perimeter, you add all the sides. Since you're adding all the sides, you're combining like terms. So very straightforward here. We have given the perimeter, find the lengths of each side in the shapes below. So number 7, they tell us the perimeter is 74. Okay, this is obviously a rectangle. And in a rectangle, we know that opposite sides are congruent. Okay, so this one line is going to be congruent to this one line. So if this is 6x minus 8, this is also 6x minus 8. These two mark that these opposite sides are congruent. If this is 2x plus 5, this is also 2x plus 5. So whenever given a rectangle, make sure you label all 4 sides so you don't leave anything out. Then to add those up to find the perimeter, I like to write it vertically. We have 6x minus 8, 6x minus 8, 2x plus 5, and 2x plus 5. Adding those up, we have +5 and +5, which is +10, -8 and -8, which is -16. Different signs, we find the difference. So it's like doing -16 up 10 or 16 minus 10, keeping the negative. So we get -6. Then 6x and 6x is 12x, 2x and 2x is 4x, 12x plus 4x is 16x. So my equation is 16x minus 6 equals 74. I got the 74 from the problem. It tells us right here that the perimeter is 74. So now we have a two-step equation that we are very familiar with solving. We start by getting rid of the constant, adding 6 to both sides, which is 16x equals 80. Then divide by 16, and x equals 5. Okay, now x is 5, but we didn't answer the question yet because it says find the lengths of each side. So x is 5. Now we got to plug it in and find each side. So we do 6 times 5 minus 8, which is 30 minus 8, which is 22. And we do 2 times 5 plus 5, which is 10 plus 5 is 15. So the lengths are 22 and 15. We could check our work. If we add all 4 sides now, we'd have 22, 22, 15, and 15, which is 2, 4, and 10. So 14, carry the 1. And then 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, which is 74, which is what they told us the perimeter should be. All right. So now you're going to also try 8 on your own. So if you hadn't paused the video to do the other ones, you want to finish now and get back to all the ones that I didn't do with you. Check in with me and a partner before moving on to the exit ticket and today's homework.